So I gotta be honest, the first half of this episode of Dark Gathering, I honestly wasn't feeling. Not in the way that I was like, damn, Dark Gathering jumped the shark. It's just, honestly, going over to Yayoi's school and having all the kids there, it just wasn't doing anything. I found it just kind of boring. But I knew they were setting up something special. I knew I needed to let them cook, and it would become a good arc, most likely. What I wasn't expecting was, in the span of one episode, to go from feeling like it was my least favorite arc to it becoming potentially my favorite arc that quickly, because once they got into the nightmare realm, I was like, I am so happy we're at this school. I knew Discount Ash Ketchum would be the first to go, I just felt it in my bones, but even I wasn't expecting the way he would go. This teacher is a genius, bro. Imagine separating your body into two pieces and having it walk away so that when the kid, because he could have easily opened that door, he knew he was there, but he wanted to have a little fun before he murdered the fool, and I'm like, oh my god. The teacher's storyline? I keep feeling like I side with the ghosts anymore, because I look at what's happened in their life, whether it's a poor child who had to eat cannibalized meatballs, to a teacher who not only was portrayed as a sexual predator, abused, and just ridiculed. Who the hell would turn into this? Full live reaction over on my Patreon if you would like to see my full uncut thoughts to episode 23 of that Dark Gathering BS. Such a good episode. Over there if you're interested. See, like, I'm the type of person that even when I don't necessarily like specific aspects of an episode, it doesn't make me bitter. It doesn't make me ruin, like, my enjoyment. I just figured this would be, like, what I would consider to be the weakest episode, and then probably 24 and 25 would get more interesting. And instead, no, like, they had the proper amount of setup, like, her walking to school, weird Lolita girl who clearly is possessed in terms of the takeover with the ghosts and everything. And then we have all these kids who are just kind of like being normal kids. It's just like, it's not interesting characters in terms of who we've been interacting with. But it is nice to see Yayoi as a part of a normal thing, because all we've really seen her is homeschooling and fighting ghosts and doing crazy things with that. So it was refreshing to get more of that. I was just, I guess, worried that we were going to have multiple episodes of simpler stuff, and in Dark Gathering fashion, everything quickly went off. This Lolita character was absolutely unhinged. Imagine leading all the ghosts in the school to then, like, cannibalize each other, to then opening up that door. I thought they killed the whole school. I'm not gonna lie. When that, like, miasma plague just, like, hit everyone, I was like, everyone just dropped. Like, the teachers dropped, and I'm like, oh my god, did they really just kill? But no, it seems like what ended up happening was it put them all into, like, a coma in terms of, like, forcing them into, like, the shadow realm, and they're fighting off basically this hide and seek game. What I think is really cool, because I think this is like the most classical horror thing that we've seen, especially if you played any sort of like survival horror games where the objective isn't to kill the spirit, but more so to escape. So think of stuff like Outlast. I mean, just the idea of trying to make your way, trying to find that exit, if there even is an exit, and basically the entire way you have no way to defeat the thing that's approaching you, and the thing looks disturbingly cool, but ultimately, like, imagine being, 8 or 9 years old and having to deal with this after thinking ghosts don't exist. I'd be shaking in my boots too. And what's crazy about the thing that happened to the teacher, and this is what's really good about Dark Gathering, is they don't just, like, there are just some messed up spirits. We have met people who were, in their life, horrible people, and then they made themselves into even more horrible spirits. That does happen and should happen. But with the last, like, fourth of this anime, like the last 6 episodes or so, they are hitting us in the feels with just shitty things that are happening to people. I wasn't sure. I was like, maybe like he did do some horrible shit and like maybe he just is like convincing himself he's innocent. But the girl's spirit literally said that no, he leaves his phone unlocked and I put them on there. I just put those pedo and I'm like, the shamelessness. The episode ends with this girl who is like class rep for Yayoi's classroom, and he's blaming her for being basically doing that. I don't think that's the case. Kind of feel like what's happening here is that the spirit looks at all of the school children as you throw rocks, you blackmail, you assault, and you ruin people's lives. I think he's projecting that onto this character. I could be misunderstanding, and the teacher hasn't been dead all that long, but I'm pretty sure she wasn't the actual one who did it. But what do I know? We're in a very messed up and just BS situation. Anything is possible here. But I have to admit, I am very impressed with what they were able to accomplish, because I think I find episodes like these more impressive than episodes that just start off amazing and end amazing. Because while I do appreciate the initial 10 minutes or so, give or take more, now seeing where the episode went, I still would, if in a rewatch, not be like, ooh, this is such good content. No, it's like, the best way to put it for me is it's boring content. It's setup stuff, and I just like, these aren't interesting characters outside of Yayoi and crazy Lolita girl. The other 3 or 4 kids that we were dealing with, I'm just like, okay, discount Ash Ketchum, you're gonna be the first to go, and I'm not gonna shed a tear. I didn't shed a tear, but I was like, damn, that's a little more brutal than he deserved. But I like the fact that, you know, the first half of the episode walked, so the second half and the remaining 2 episodes could Usain Bolt themselves down the runway. And it's fantastic to see what they're able to do because the production is so good. The filtering, they show shots that I am baffled aren't censored. Like, no black bars, no smudging, nothing. Just, I'm like, bro, did they seriously, with the yard clippers, and then they show it? And I'm like, how do they get away with this? And I'm so happy they do, but this is such an impressive horror anime, and I truly hope that we're not just gonna simply get 25 episodes. I do feel like, in a way, that this is the type of show that even if they do leave us off, and obviously Yayoi's mom's not gonna be saved by the end of episode 25, I can headcanon things. I probably will read the manga if they don't give me a season 2 within a year or 2, or, you know, at least confirm they're gonna be working on more, because this has become my favorite horror series. For the longest time, it was Shiki, that was my number 1, and then I watched Higurashi and caught up to all the Higurashi craziness, and then I put Higurashi as my number 1 and Shiki as my number 2. There's not a lot of great horror anime, so it's not like you really make a long list, all things considered. Some are good, but you're not really going to be like, oh, raving about masterpieces. But Dark Gathering has easily cleared both of them for me. I'm not saying either one of them is bad. Feel free to disagree with how high I rate the show, but I truly believe Dark Gathering is my number 1 horror thriller series that I've seen in this wonderful medium. It was consistent. It completely goes against what you assume a horror series will be, because you assume jump scares, you assume edgy gore, but instead, the gore and the just matureness of the show, it's tasteful and impactful because they don't show it every other scene. The limited amount of jump scares legit get me going like, what the hell, because I don't expect them because they're not predictable. But the thing that makes this legitimately terrifying the whole way through is the eeriness and the disturbing subject matter. Listening with headphones, having all those sound effects, it's an earworm that you're trying to pull away because it's like a parasite trying to infect your soul with terror, and it does such an effective job. So if you can't tell, I am absolutely excited for episode 24, and of course episode 25 to see how they're gonna wrap this bad boy up. But like I said, started off as the weakest episode for me and ended as one of the strongest and potentially could be the best arc, at least for someone like myself. But hey, that's just my feelings. Let me know what you're feeling down below. Leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more to the channel. And like I mentioned, full live reaction over on my Patreon. And hey, while you're over there, you also get a video shout out. So today we have Ulcels Mendoza, Ert Swanson, Jesus Sakado, Aiden, Luke Badaldi, Brandon Cathell, and Ike Eakley. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.